Hello everyone, my name is Anthony, and in today's video we're going to try to interface Matlab with the KV5x. So what I have over here is the KV5x development board. It's a custom development board, and we'll try to program this board using a Matlab. So how to get started? So on the NXP website for the Kinetis KV5x, if you go to Tools and Software, it talks about all the different tools that you could use to work with the KV5x. And one of them is the model-based design toolbox, which helps you to interface using Matlab's capabilities, using Simulink and model-based design, where you can design your algorithms in Matlab, in the Matlab environment, and eventually compile your code and download it to the KV5x. There are other softwares as well that you could use, but in this particular video, we're just going to try the model-based design toolbox and see, whether it's an efficient way of compiling, of understanding and creating algorithms and compiling it and downloading it to the KV5x. Now, since they're providing such features, might as well go try it out. So when you click on the model-based design toolbox, it'll open a page which talks about what all the features about the model-based design toolbox. And what I've done is I've gone and clicked the download button. So when you click the download button over here, it'll open a page. And in here, it'll talk about what you're using the model-based design toolbox for. Which processor would you want to use it for? So in my case, I've got the KV5x. It does support the IMX RT, which is a crossover MCU CPU kind of crossover. It also supports the S12 and the S32 of the NXP processors. Now, as far as I'm concerned, all of these processors are generally catered towards the automotive industry. That's the reason why Matlab is generally they use a lot of Matlab in designing control algorithms and various features for the automotive for an automobile. And one of them that is supported is the KV5x. So what I've done over here is right-clicked and downloaded this particular, or you just right-click and it'll take you to another link. Here, it'll give you all the files that is specific to the KV5x processor. So just right click and then you can just click download. What I generally do is click open link in a new tab, and it generally downloads the whole file, or you can just click on it and it downloads. Though I found it a little buggy when you click on it. You might want to right click and click download to a new tab, and then it actually downloads the file. There's also documentation, which is called the series quick start guide, and we're going to download it and see how we're going to basically install the Matlab model-based design toolbox in Matlab. All right. So the document that we're going to follow is called the model-based design toolbox for the KVX series. Now, when I say KVX series, I think it supports the 2x, the 3x, 4x, and 5x. What we have over here is the 5x. And in here, it'll talk about all the necessary things that you need to do in order to get everything working. So what I've already gone and done is I've already gone and opened Matlab over here in this particular case. And once you download all the files, it'll tell you to install the files. And it's pretty straightforward. So I've already gone and installed the NXP support package for the KV5x. You will also need to download the embedded coder support package for the ARM Cortex-M processor. And then you would also need to download the NXP MBD model-based design toolbox for the newer versions of Matlab. So all of this is provided in the document itself. So when you go to the document, it will tell you what needs to be done if you're going that in order to make everything working. All right. Just follow the instruction. It's pretty straightforward. There's really nothing, it's quite self-explanatory as to what needs to be done. And once everything is installed based on this document, you can then go to Matlab and let's start to compile a Simulink model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to my path, which is a model called test. And you can just click in Simulink over here. So what I'll type over here is just Simulink. Once Simulink opens, you can click the blank model. Once Simulink opens, you can click the library browser. Once Simulink opens, you can go to the Simulink library browser and you will notice that it has the NXP model-based design toolbox for Kinetis V-Series because you have installed the files. And it has a couple of example projects. Under the Kinetis KV-5x, you have the communication modules, you have general purpose, hardware timers, motor control, and it also has some real-time control as well for motor control and various other libraries, which I'm yet to test. And under the general purpose input output, because that's what we're trying to, kind of prototype as quickly as possible, I'm going to use the GPIO polling example. After you drag it into the Matlab, into the Simulink environment, you can double click on the GPIO polling and then it will open up what's happening under the hood. And here we have the GPIO input peripheral, which is the connected to the port E4, and it's doing some operations, and based on the input, it basically toggles the output of something of that sort. You have settings, and under settings, you can show how you want to download it, how you want your file to be downloaded into the actual hardware. Now, because we are using a custom development board, we might have to make a little bit of adjustments so that it's downloading not using the predefined board template, but now downloading based on our custom development configuration. So once you open this, it'll open the parameters, configuration parameters, and under this particular pop-up, we can set how we want to download the code once it compiles. So you go to device details under hardware implementation, and under the hardware board settings, you can go to the download, and under download, it says how you want to download. There's the option for JTAG and OpenSDA. By default, it's OpenSDA because you're using the Tower development board. But since we're using a custom development board, we're going to use the JTAG using the JTAG downloader so that we can download code into the KV5x. You might want to put the link to where the JTAG Sager J-Link software is. So for me, I've downloaded my file. So these are all the J-Link downloaders. You want to link it to the J-Link commander. All right. So J-Link commander is where the code will be downloaded is the program that downloads code for using Sager to download code to the KV5x. All right. So what I'm going to do is once I've linked the Sager J-Link, it's now time to compile and download the code. You can click OK. Once you click the build, deploy, and start, it'll start to build the C code. And I've already built the code, but because it does take a while, but it'll start to build all the C files based on the Simulink model. And once it builds a C file, it then goes on to complete the build process. And it'll also give you a nice high-level overview of what the C code is being generated so that you can understand what's really happening. You can even map some of the functions in the Simulink with the code itself so that it gives you a better understanding of how the code is actually generated. So that's all there is to it. You can play around and see how it works. Now I'm still playing around, so I'm not very comfortable yet to use Simulink with this particular processor. There are a lot of functions and there are a lot of things that I need to understand as to how you create these block diagrams, because some of it might be able to generate code, some of these blocks are not able to generate code, and the examples do help. So this is just the high-level overview of how you can play around with the model-based design. I believe you can even take the code and even bring it to MCU Espresso and then even play with the code even in that particular IDE once it's generated. So there are a lot of flexibilities with this. but so far I am yet to completely take full advantage of this particular feature. So that's all there is for it now. If you like this video, please do like the video, and please do subscribe so that you can be notified when videos like this, when I start making, when you'll be notified when I'm making videos like this again. Yeah. Thank you so much.